Hey, welcome everyone. It is 8 o'clock. What is today? Tuesday, July 16th. It's time for the sixth edition of DMR Tech Net TV. We do this every month on the third Tuesday, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We try and find interesting topics that instead of having a radio, we actually have Zoom so that you can watch us, ask questions, and physically see it versus just trying to hear theater of the mind. And with me tonight is the DMR TechNet TV team. I see Stan, I see Steve, I see Brad, I see Rick, and I see Tom. Tom, are you on your boat out in the, what is that, Lake Clarkston or something?
Yep, I'm out on my boat right now because I can't be inside. It's too nice. I can reach my Wi-Fi from here, though. I'm in the Wi-Fi.
I like it. Hey, by the way, I'll be down your neck of the woods tomorrow for the concert at Pine Knob.
Yeah, I have to warn you about the traffic. It's really bad this year.
I already got 3 emails on that saying, watch out.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. So,
yeah.
All
I'll
right.
be. I got rehearsal from 6 till 10:30 tomorrow night, so I won't be around during that whole concert.
Darn.
It sounds like that'd be a good one to go see, though. I'd like to see that.
I almost had an extra ticket, so, but the girlfriend's getting down tonight, so we'll get that taken care of.
You almost had an extra ticket, really?
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway, tonight our topic is how to program a brand new talk group into your CPS, computer programming software for your radio. In my case, I have the AnyTone series, and the channel in question we're talking about is 31266 on BrandMeister. It's a brand new channel called the Michigan Nets channel because the DMR Tech Net team, we broadcast on there every Monday night, 7:30 to 8:25, so that we can have people from around the world check in, as well as anywhere in the US or other countries, without getting talk group blocked, which a few of us have had that happen to us. So anyway, it's not that difficult to do. And if you look at the newsletter, I actually sent this out a while back, but we decided let's talk about it tonight because some people are still having issues. And we thought we'd talk about it and try and help you set it up, show you it's not that difficult. If you can program a radio, 2 meter, 440, whatever HF, it's basically the same format. It's just different terms that we have to go through. Let's see. Tom, would you like to say some words on programming? We'll go to you first.
I don't really have much to say. I got my computer here. I'm going to update some GD77 stuff, but I don't know what the trick is other than opening up your appropriate CPS for your appropriate radio and make the configuration changes and upload it. If there's, I'm sure we're going to hear about some shortcuts to that, but when GD77 came, or when 31266 came on board here for our channel, I just performed 3, let's see, it'd be 1, then 3, 1, 2, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 key buttons on my GD77. I pressed the up key right there in the lower corner, and then I pressed 3, 1, 2, 6, 6, and then I pressed the green button, and now I'm on 31266. So that's about all I can contribute at this moment. Back to you, Dana.
Tom, real quick, does that stay there, or is it only for a short period of time before it jumps back to a previous channel?
If you change channels, and then if you change channels, it does not. Let me double check it. It does not change it. So if we go 31266, and because I have I got 31268, for TechNet on there. So I go enter, and then I wrote right over the TechNet channel. In that case, I create a channel in my CPS called open, just whatever I want to put in there. And so now if I go to another channel, no matter what I do, it will stay on 31266 until I reprogram back, unless there's a shortcut for that. So I just clicked up a couple channels. Right now I got the Eastern Michigan link showing on there, But if I key down, I'm going to 31266. Okay. No big deal. You just have to remember to switch it back. Unless one of these open GD77 hotshots know how to shortcut that. But that's what I do, and it works really well. But I need to clean up some of my GD77 open stuff, and that's what I was going to do today. The more I work with my CPS, the smaller it gets. Eliminate. I'm going to go down to about one, and then I'll just key in whatever I need to do. It's amazing. I probably had 100 channels in there. I'm getting rid of all of them. It's just too much to keep track of.
It's funny you said that. And by the way, we've got Stan and Brad that also will, I'm sure, help out with the GD77. But I was talking to Lucille yesterday, and we helped get her set up on that. But I created a new zone, and I just put a couple channels in there. TGIF 31268, DMR Tech Net channel. 31665, the TGIF channel. Then on BrandMeister, I put 31266, 31268, and 3126, the statewide Michigan disconnect channel, parrot channel, and hotspot off channel. So it's like 8 channels in my radio. That's what I primarily use the whole time. So that's what I do. It's not that difficult. So
I think that's
I've got AnyTone.
That matches with, if you think about it, that's what DMR was invented for. Sales department, security, front desk, lobby, everybody's got a little radio. I almost asked the guy at Kroger today if I could see his radio, his little DMR radio, but I didn't want to bother him. He was like stocking, and it's a tiny little Motorola radio. But they have 5 or 6 departments, and that's it. You can't have 100 channels in DMR, I don't think. You don't need to. It's just ham radio guys want to make it big and big and big and big, but smaller and simpler is the absolute requirement of DMR.
And it's funny you said that, because I was talking to Jeff Hochberg, who we had on Tech Net TV last month. He has 2 channels in his radio. That's it. 2 channels.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't have many friends, I guess, but that's okay.
Well, he says, I'm not going to use them. By the same token, Ron and Steve, we got the AnyTones. I got the Ultra Code plug. It's 1,200 channels or so on 9. I forget, but I don't listen to all those. It's nice I have the opportunity, but
I guess. I mean, and then of course, there's a lot of them that aren't even being used hardly. So you can really frustrate yourself by not having anyone on the other end, even though everything's working right. There's just nobody to talk to. So is that register.com on your shirt, Dana, or what is that? Radio Shack?
That I stole it from Radio Shack. I actually had a small donor committee called Thornton Circle R. So.
Oh, really? Because I got
that's okay. Realistic.
Yeah, it's got that great big giant. I got 2 of those great big handhelds. They take like 8 AA batteries in them, or maybe 10 or 12.
I want you to take a picture of that shirt. Send that to me. I'll post that in the Radio Shack group on Facebook. Radio Shack Memories. Lucille, you had a question?
Yeah. Well, yes, I wanted to say, Dana, I don't know what happened to my radio, my DMR AnyTone. When I turn it on, I have only 3 channels. Michigan statewide, the 3126, that was 3126. The UP channel 31268, and the new channel 31266. But I lost everything else. I don't know where it is. So
probably in a different zone. If you press this little up thing here, you can change zones. And I've got several zones because I use this thing for analog too. And I've got those in one zone. I had some out-of-state stations. I put them in another zone. So if you guys added a zone and put the channels in the zone, that's where they went. They didn't go away.
Oh, all right.
And Rick, you're absolutely correct, because Lucille, I remember you said there were just 3 channels in that zone, but you had 2 zones on your radio.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that, as Rick said, that the center button, up or down, takes you to the next zone, either above it or below it. And me, I've got a shit couple of zones. Okay. Stan, you've got a GD77. Would you like to answer Tom's question if need be? And then we'll go to Steve after that.
Sure thing. I've got the same radio Tom has. I've got open 77 on it. Yes, I key things in that was same way that Tom does, but on mine, once I switch to another channel or I just hit the an arrow, I go back to wherever I was before I started, and I'm transmitting on that other channel. Now, I'm running an older version. They may have changed that in a newer version of OpenGD77, but that's the way it works on mine. And the GD77 makes it real easy to program in new talk groups because you just go to contacts, enter in a descriptor or a name, put the number in, and it is there. Then what I go from there, I go to a talk group list, and I pump that channel in a list, and I move it up and down and put it where I want, and then I save it, and I'm done. But the interesting thing you can also do with the GD77, you don't have to create a channel for each talk group. So I have one talk group list that basically I have everything that I've got programmed in the radio dumped into that one. So it's available all the time. Then I created another list now, and it's TGIF contacts. Then I went to the TGIF channel, and the channel is because I run a separate hotspot for TGIF, and I go in there and I say, take all this traffic from the TGIF list. And all I have to do is I switch to that channel, and it only gives me the TGIF talk groups to deal with. And I put a little designator at the beginning of each one. I put an F there. So I know when I look at the radio, it says F. Okay, I know I'm on TGIF and I'm not with the same number somewhere else. And I also found that the OpenGD77 doesn't like you to put in a talk room number twice. So, for example, 31268 on BrandMeister, and we also have 31268 on TGIF, and it upchuck and wouldn't do that. So, what you do is when you enter the number for a TGIF, put a leading 0 in, then enter the number. It likes that. When you display it, it only displays the number, doesn't display the leading 0, and it works great. So
okay, so I think that I don't have a list of you're saying when you have a list of TGIF contacts, you're talking about you have a TGIF list under digital contacts, Stan, and then you have a list under BrandMeister. Is that what you have?
No, I have there's talk group lists or TG lists, and I've got one I just called RX list, and it's got everything defaults to that. And when you do that, that then means you can use any device, any RF channel with any talk group. So your radio, you've got the four arrows. It's like a cross-point switch where you're picking a talk group and you're picking a contact and marrying the two together all the time. So you have minimal channels in the radio at all. I've got like 14 different hotspots. I got them all on different RF frequencies for the most part. So I can run them simultaneously and not have a problem with them that way. And right now I've got everything. I'm in one zone. I haven't done another zone at all. And That's about it. Like you say, Tom, it's minimal.
You know, you can do, that's similar to what I do. I just have a whole bunch of talk groups in there from back before I had, they imported in when I went to OpenGD 77. However, because my hotspot requires the 5031.268 because it's on the TGIF network, right? Mm-hmm. So I key in 5031.268, goes there. That hotspot runs TGIF and BrandMeister. If I just put in 31268, I go to the Upper Peninsula. You see? Yeah. So it's similar to what you're doing. Also, Dana, to answer the question, if you right turn on the four buttons, the arrow buttons, you right turn, it erases your free open channel that you keyed in, like what Stan is talking about. If you turn right on the right button here, it goes back to whatever the memorized programmed CPS channel was. So I don't do that very much, but that's what happens. You can turn channels all day long, but if you do an up arrow 31268, you're going to be on the UP no matter what channels you put on there. If you turn right, it goes back to whatever channel the dial or the up down is taking you to. So it's just simple. It's just how OpenGD 77 works. But as everybody knows, I mean, I didn't even hardly use these radios. I got other radios, the 878. I haven't hardly touched my 878 since I upgraded to GD 77. I only wish the 878 would do it. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. I also wish the DB25 would. If DB25 went OpenGD 7, that'd be great. So anyway,
one thing, Tom, I like what you said too. The padding 50, which 5 means TGIF network, 0 because you got to get up to 7 characters.
Yeah, and so you just key that right in, and then because the hotspot's looking for that anyway, because it's connected to TGIF. There you go. The next thing you know, you're on the DMR Tech Net channel talking about DMR CPS open spot stuff.
So how do you get your hotspot connected to TGIF?
Well, you got to know the right people. You got to check in.
So it also depends on which hotspot you have and what software you're running, Lucille.
MMDVM hotspot and PyStar.
So in PyStar, you have to go into some advanced settings and add some lines of code in to be able to enable TGIF and BrandMeister simultaneously.
You can find those on the TGIF website.
Yes, you can.
I'll be calling one of you experts when I do that.
It is quite simple to do.
Steve showed me how to do it.
I would be happy to help you, Lucille. Let me know. I'll be happy to help you.
Thank you.
Hey, Brad, one thing I talked about, if we get her up to WPSD, it's a lot easier.
Yep, and that's what I was going to mention next is WPSD. Here, I will share my screen so we can visualize what I'm talking about here.
Brad's just
make it a little bit easier.
And WPSD is the Windows PyStar dashboard that Chip Cuccio, W0CHP, and his team put together. It makes it real easy, real simple on doing stuff, adding networks, channels, all kinds of other goodies.
So here's my WPSD dashboard. On here, which this is just as easy to set up as PyStar is, if I want to go into TGIF and turn TGIF on, let me get into the admin. I go to configuration.
I have the PyStar one, not the WPSD, because I had to revert back to my other hotspot. I can show that one how that's done.
Steve, why don't you do that next? Go ahead, Brad, and continue on.
And then if I come down here to my DMR, and that's been turned on, I have my BrandMeister network, my DMR Plus network, System X network, TGIF network, and these little switches will denote if it's on or off. And then we were talking about the padding.
Right hey, Brad, hold that thought just a minute. Go back up to BrandMeister. Because there was a issue with BrandMeister's master server. Lucille, we were talking about yesterday. Brad, you want to show how to change the master server?
Yep. It's going to be the same thing on the PyStar. Same concept. You drop down. You'll be right next to it. 3102 is one that's been having the issues. So I just went down to 3103. Any of these ones that say United States, you can get on and you won't have any issues with. I mean, realistically, if you wanted to go into Canada, you could, but then you couldn't get onto 3126 because you'd be talk group blocked on it.
Well, interesting thing happened here this morning. I was walking by my hotspot and I saw some green lettering on the very tiny display. So I looked up closely. It said offline, and I am on 3103. So I don't know what happened, but right now when I have my radio on, it seems to be working.
Mine does that when I leave it in my car. And I leave it plugged in and there's no internet. So if you lost internet connection, it would have went offline.
No, mine's always plugged in with an Ethernet cable, my Wi-Fi router.
Yeah, but if you lost internet overnight and didn't realize it because it was in the middle of the night and it came back on before you woke up, you could have went offline then.
You guys had a storm last night. It could have happened. And
That's
Brad,
right.
real quick. With BrandMeister, 3102 was the server in Dallas that was having problems. 3103 is in San Jose, California. 3104 is the one in Chicago that had the big meltdown. I believe it was January, or was that December? That the cooling failed for the building and everything melted down and it toasted some things.
Yeah. So where were we? Oh yeah, talk group padding. So like we were talking about that 5 in front of the talk group. That is right here where it tells us to use 5 as a talk group prefix.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't use a prefix on it, your hotspot's going to default it to BrandMeister.
Okay.
And each one of these, like if you want to try DMR Plus and you have this, you can turn it on, use this talk group prefix, do that, type in your talk group like normal with the 7 digits in total, and it will get you on that network.
So
the
Lucille,
other thing.
Wait, Brad, hold. So what Tom was talking earlier for the TGIF DMR Tech Net channel 31268. If we just left it 31268, it would default to BrandMeister, which is the UP channel. Tom puts in 5 for TGIF. We need something to get to 7 characters. It's only 5 digits, plus it starts with a 5. That's a total of 5 plus 1 is 6. We put a 0 in. So it'd be 50 31268. That is the DMR Tech Net channel.
So,
on TGIF. Yes.
Correct.
Yes. So the other thing I wanted to share was what the CPS actually looks like. We keep talking about what we do, where we put stuff, but there's no showing what it looks like. If you're setting up for the first time, the first thing you want to do is put in your DMR ID and call sign in.
Rating.
And that will allow your radio to get on the network.
Yes, it is.
Sorry?
Hold on. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know if someone had a question or not. On OpenGD77, there's some cool stuff you can do. I'm not going to get into the boot screen and stuff like that because that's not really important stuff to what we're doing. And then you have your contacts, which are digital contacts, and all of your contacts go in here first. So no matter which one you're doing, if you're putting in, I don't have 31266 in yet, so let's do that. So I come here, I open my contacts log, I hit add. It's going to be the Michigan
Net.
and it's 31266. We want it as a group call, and this is an option on here. I can't remember if it was on some of the others I've used, but I've used 3 different CPSs to program radios, and I have found they're all very similar. Stuff may not be labeled exactly the same, but the same information goes in the same places. And then that's done. If you have a save button, you'll want to save. OpenGD77 just edits it and saves it live. for the most part as you're doing it. You will have to save it later. And we can see right here, number 41 is Michigan Nets. I have added that to my group. And then since I only really use my home zone, I would now want to, nope, that's channels, home. That's what it is. Add my channel. My contacts. It actually uses talk group list. So I open my home talk group list, which is here. That's where I was missing it. And then if I wanted that in my talk group list for my home talk group, I just select it, hit add, and then it's in that list, and I can cycle through it to get to it. And that's the steps we've all been talking about, but no one's been showing. I know I'm a very visual person at times, so I wanted to give a visual of it for people just in case. And I know that can help solidify stuff.
It's the Open GD77 CPS you're using is just for your Open GD77 radio, not for other radios.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And something else Brad can do, he can move the order of the talk groups that he has in that zone. So if you want to move it up or change the order, you can do that.
So if I wanted to move it, I can select it, hit the up button here, and you can see it moves it up, it moves it down. There's a lot you can do in here, and if you want to remove one, move that one up there. Like let's say one I don't use. I never use this channel. So I want to get rid of it out of here. I can select it and hit delete. It deletes it out of the talk group list, but does not delete the contact. It just moves it from this member list to the available list, which is your contact list.
Tom, thank you for the explanation. I have another Zoom group that I join in 1 minute here, so I've got to leave, but I really appreciate the knowledge here and the expertise. Thank you all. So,
thanks for joining us, Lucille.
Yeah. Now, Brad, what radio are you using for Open GD77?
I have the UV380 and the UV390. Between the two, I would recommend the 390. It feels a bit sturdier. It's a bit heavier of a radio. I prefer that bit heavier of a weight to the radio.
Right.
It's also water resistant, and it also has GPS capabilities in it.
And did you have any trouble flashing it with the Open GD77?
No. Is your QRZ up to date with your email?
Yeah, I think it's should be. Yeah.
Okay. It's not hard at all. So what I'll do is I will look you up on QRZ real quick, and I will email you here in a bit with the YouTube tutorials I followed to get it done.
Okay. It's just to let you know, it's agostrander@gmail.com. So it's just my first name and my first name and my middle name and Ostrander@gmail.com. If it's not on there, I thought it was on there, but
or send it to me, Brad. I'll forward it to Alan. So
okay.
I had a question for Bob, Mr. Strobel, DQQ, down quack quack. Is that that's the radio you have, the TYT MD380? Is that the one you have?
Yep.
Have you added the 31266 to it yet?
No.
And Brad is showing it. Tom has it. Stan has it. It's not that difficult to add.
Yeah, I added it to the to my Bridgecom radio. So I mean my EV 878 878. That's senior moment. Yeah, I added it to them. No problem. Yeah.
So Bob, it's really not that difficult to add it to it.
No.
And once you bring up
Nah.
the CPS and as
Yeah.
Brad showed, it's just a bunch of clicks, or
Yeah.
Tom said the same thing.
Matter of fact, to do it, the CPS software here does it for you. It's all done from right here. What was it? OpenGD77 support. Open this up. It has a backup flash, so you can back up your previous before you continue.
And by the way, that's a good point. Before you make any changes, always back up your current setting.
Yes. And then I think it's install set. I can't remember which one it is, but it's somewhere in here you do it. It's been a while since I've done it myself, but is in this OpenGD77 CPS software you flash it with.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's super simple. And like I said, I'll send you some a couple YouTube videos on it, so you can watch a couple different people's perspective on it.
Right. I just don't want to brick the radio if I, I know I've heard people say they had that happen.
I had a brick radio, a GD77 brick radio that I bought for $60, and that's why the guy sold it to me on eBay. It was only $60. It did not work. Totally didn't. I just put it in my drawer, got open GD77. It revitalized it, and it was like a GD77.
Yeah, I thought I bricked my radio at one point, and I just backed up. I redid the flash again, and it came to life. It is possible, but I don't think that it's going to be that easy to do.
Right. Well, I think this was a while ago, though, and I think they've improved it quite a bit, or made all the
they have
made a lot of fixes to it. Yeah.
So a couple things, if you're going to do it, I always recommend is make sure your battery is 100% charged before you start the process.
Yeah. Okay.
The most common times a device gets bricked when flashing a stable software is from a power failure.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Make sure your battery's fully charged, and that reduces the chance of that power failure from happening. And just don't touch your radio during the process. If it's working, let it sit there, let it do its thing. Don't mess with anything. You don't want to knock a cable loose by mistake. Anything like that, let it do its thing. Once it's finished, then pick your radio up.
Okay.
That's my advices on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brad, question for you. Do you still have to go out to two separate sources to get the firmware upgrade and one source to get the DMR portion, or have they allowed distribution of the whole chunk from one location again?
I am not certain. It's been a while since I've downloaded it. So I don't want to say on that one for certain.
So Stan, my understanding is the initial migration to GD77, you need the firmware from the factory that has the AMPI software in it, because that's proprietary, and the GD77 software. Merge it together to get on the radio, convert it.
Yep, that's what I did when I did mine, but thought maybe they changed the rules.
Well, once it's converted, you don't need to do that again.
Right.
You can just upgrade your GD77 software.
And I think my last one, I just watched part of the YouTube video and remembered what the steps were and just did it. And I think I may have skipped a step and it was fine. But it has been a while since I've done it, so I don't want to say for certain on that. I could be misremembering or not remembering a couple of the steps I took because I haven't done it a whole lot of times.
Yeah, I had to redo it recently, Brad. I've got a Retevis RT3S and I've got a Baofeng DM1701, and I forgot to change the radio type, and I flashed the DM1701 as an RT3S, and that bricked it, kind of. I had to go back in, start all over, reflash it with the Ambi software and a new version of GD77 and reset the radio type correctly, and that brought it back. But I still had to go get all the software pieces, put it together, and restore the radio that way, and then it was all good.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I about I don't know 2 or 3 weeks ago, I received a email from Connect Systems. I had bought another radio from a while back, and they had RT3S. They were selling them for $50, brand new.
ooh, that's a good price.
So I bought one. I ordered one. I got it, and it came and it's brand new. And so I could flash that with this Open GD 77 too, I believe. I'm not. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have here. That's
Okay.
the radio I use a lot.
So, Kurt,
Okay.
do you have a strong technical background?
Yes.
Okay. That does make it harder to give it an answer on a scale of 1 to 10. How hard is it? Because as tech guys will give something hard an easy scale
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, but if you worked with the Bridgecom, the handhelds, the AnyTone handhelds, and you did the firmware upgrades, you should be probably okay doing the flash for the GD7. I would think. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've done
Yeah.
firmware upgrades,
Yeah.
this is the same thing as a firmware upgrade. You're just
Right.
flashing a new firmware on instead.
Right. Gotcha.
So if you're comfortable doing that, then absolutely
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, so if you're familiar with that, yeah, you got this. It's easy.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, you mentioned,
yes.
or Alan mentioned AnyTone. I've got one. Steve has one. Steve, you want to add your 2 cents worth on adding channels or adding to the discussion?
One thing I noticed, and I've done this before, is if you have a channel set up with your frequencies, and if you already have the talk group set up, and I think there's a way to do it from the front panel too, to add in a talk group. But you can add in a new channel just by copying one. Just by when you're on the channel, you can go into it, create a new one, and it would take all your settings that you already have in there, and you can just adjust the talk group, rename it, and then save it, and you're all set. And it would also, you put down what zone it's in too. So it's one quick way from the front panel without using the CPS.
Yeah.
I like using the computer. Rick, you've got an 868, is it? Or is it 878?
No, I have an 878 UV.
You want to add anything on add channels?
Not really. The one kind of tip I had was when you go in and add the channels, copy one that works and just change the talk group.
Right.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. That's
And,
it. Yep.
You add it to your zone and you're ready to go.
Yeah, don't forget to add it to the zone.
Yeah.
That's a
Add it
requirement.
to the zone you normally want to see it in.
And,
The zone you want to see it in, yes.
Something that's been said that I agree with. You guys seen how many digital contacts I had in my radio when I showed my list? I use maybe 4 of those on a regular basis. 31268 TGIF, 358 TGIF. I actually ran into a vet I served with. We were in the same aviation brigade on the same deployments. We were just in different units, so we never actually physically ran into each other very often. But I ran into him in that 358 talk group down in Savannah, Georgia. And then 3126 for the Michigan 1 DMR net, because I help run that one, and 31266 for the DMR Tech net. Any other talk group I need to get into, I will just press the up arrow or the pound key on the OpenGD 77, type in the talk group, and hit the green button and key up, and I'm on that talk group.
Right.
There's
Well, Brad, I've got a question, and
yes.
something that's escaping me, and I'm, if this is not valid, go ahead. But how do you change where you're talking to? You have you have a hotspot, but you could also be using a repeater.
Yes.
In the
Yes. Let me.
those are controlled by channels in the AnyTone. How is it with GD77?
Same thing. Let me share my screen again.
Channel.
So that's a good point. I don't use the repeaters anymore. They're still here, but I have two hotspots. I have one in my house and one in my car.
Okay.
The car is really my travel one, but I just call it the car because that's where it lives most of its life. And
Brad, quick question. You have two hotspots or just one you move from home to car?
I have two. I have one in the house that's on a Pi 2 that's connected via Ethernet to my modem, like Lucille has her set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one in my car that is strictly Wi-Fi. If you open up these channels, if it will open up, right here is where I put all my information in to reach that particular hotspot or repeater. I can only have one window open up at a time, but if I go through here, you can see this is on 442. This is on 444, 675, 442, 3750. So they're all on different frequencies.
And I can see you also can change your power level and your timeout timer, 495 seconds.
Yes, and you can change it specific to that talk group or that channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I have mine set to as high as possible because I don't talk that long to begin with on the radio at a time. I like to have that extra time just in case for when I do go on those longer rants. But yeah, so it is channels. You have to have your talk group list in that channel. So like the Bro repeater has its own DMR. So I will typically put that one as non-local because that's a one that has all the different ones. You can also make those zones. Your zones is where you get your channels into, and you can have all your channels in your zones. But like the talk groups that we're talking here, this has been quite a while since I've updated this one. You would put like, oh, there isn't any of the specific ones in here. Okay, so there's some ones that you'll run into that are specific to just that repeater. And then you can put those in a specific talk group list and then attach that to that repeater. So that's why those talk groups are useful because you can actually specify, like Stan was saying, he has the one hotspot that's just TGIF. So he has a zone for just TGIF.
Mm-hmm.
You can do something similar with those talk group lists to where they only belong to certain channels.
Hey, Tom, do you just have just the one hotspot or do you have multiple hotspots?
I have two MMDVM little generic hotspots, and I have an OpenSpot 4. I can't say any of them are better or worse. They're all kind of the same. I have one with TGIF BrandMeister. I have another one with YSF BrandMeister, and then the OpenSpot I do everything with because it has cross mode capability. So I can go C4FM to BrandMeister or C4FM to TGIF or C4FM to D-Star or whatever. That's how I do it. And I don't want to, they're so expensive now. When I bought mine, they were $80. Now they're 180. You know.
Rick, did that answer your question?
I think so. It's kind of a terminology thing. Plus 878's organized a little differently. So but that was my
Rick?
how you changed connections.
Yeah, Rick or Steve, either of you guys want to share your screen with a 878 CPS software?
I do not have, I'm not on a Windows machine. I was trying to set it up on Linux through Wine, but it's not working quite right.
Hang on, I can do
Some
it.
things don't show up. I go to connect a COM port and all the stuff is empty. I can't see the COM port.
Yeah, because they're looking for Windows-based software, not Linux.
Temporary screen.
Well, Wine is not an emulator.
Yeah. Bob, do you have,
Yeah.
while Rick's pulling up, Bob, do you have questions? Because you've got that TYT, but you don't have the Michigan Nets channel in it yet. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I got
You're
the Michigan
muted.
Net on here now.
Well, Bob's muted.
You're muted. I'm just joking.
Well,
Echo.
you're not going to get too much stuff open.
Hey.
Could be.
I'm looking at Amazon. It's Prime Day.
Oh, that's all right. There we go.
Oh
Bob.
man.
All right, Bob.
That's why Steve can't share his screen. He doesn't want us to see his guilty purchases.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
Bob.
my email program just started it up.
Okay, now let me preface this with this is all self-taught. So, between YouTube and Bridgecom, all that stuff, this is the way I set it up. I'm a computer geek, so my organization may be different from yours, but the AnyTone, it wants, oh, gee whiz.
Under digital.
Oh, digital, there we go.
Yeah. Click that. Click channels.
It,
Or contact talk group.
digital contact list is a list
No,
of
no.
people.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
good.
don't hit that.
Contact.
That's going to take
Second one down.
forever.
No,
It
second
only
one
holds
down.
200,000,
Contact.
so
Contact.
And you need
talk
to
group.
get GD77.
yeah.
Go up. Contact / talk
Talk
group.
group.
That one.
Contact
Yep. That's
That
it.
one, yeah.
Go to
There
the
we
bottom.
Yeah, go down the bottom.
Yeah,
Go to the
these are
bottom.
just talk groups.
Nate
So
TJ on the Michigan Nets channel.
I got to find and I probably stuck that in there by hand because I didn't want to load the
Or
Woo!
Oh, shoot, this doesn't.
yeah, I
10,000.
know. I always had that problem too.
Yeah, you got to go to the
This is
last.
the pain in the
channel.
ass. It doesn't use the scroll wheel on the mouse
Right, yeah.
to do
Yep.
any of this stuff,
Yep.
which
You gotta
pisses
kinda
me
hunt and peck.
off. Being
You're
a
getting
programmer.
close. You're getting close.
There
There you
we
go.
are.
There you go.
Yeah, does anybody know what the CPS is written in? Is it C++ or is it
I think it's
.NET framework?
but I'm not 100%
the
sure.
.NET. I think you have to install a bunch of the .NET accessories.
Oh,
Hey,
that's why.
I do have a list
Well,
of
It also stores the entire DMR contact list in the code plug. So it's like
Yeah.
a PinMag file and it sucks up a ton
All
of
right.
memory.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there's only so much memory in there. I only have space for 200,000, and there's many more than that now. So,
and
okay.
OpenGD77, you get space for them all.
Yep.
So
There we go.
I'm about to send a list of YouTube videos out to Al.
Okay.
Install. Does anybody else want to be CC'd or BCC'd on this? If you do,
I'll
put your
send it.
email in the chat.
Yeah, put it in a Discord channel just for that
There you go.
GD77 thing. Because, if I ever get one, I would like to know how to update it.
I'll send it in
And-
the Discord too, but I want to send it by email to those who don't have our Discord or not in our Discord. And if you're not in our Discord, you should join our Discord.
I'd like to
Link
try to get one of those
to our Discord.
390s to
I'm
try
there,
it
but
out.
I'd like to get it anyways. So if you say email it to me.
Yeah, I will,
that'd be
Al.
great. Okay,
Bob?
thanks.
Bob, did you want to get copies of that? Take a look.
Yeah, put me on that list, Steve, at DMR Tech Net, .net.
What?
You can add me too, Brad. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, over to Rick.
Okay, 50 3 1 2 6 6. Okay, so I just added it for my TGIF group, and I need to add it 05312266.
I thought it's 50.
Oh, not 50. 50.
Adding.
Yep.
And believe it or not, what Rick's putting in, there's actually a Michigan Nets channel on TGIF. Stan set that up. But we hardly ever use that.
Okay, but these are your talk groups. They are stored separately. You can put them in by hand, or you can load it from BrandMeister. So,
okay, so now you've got the channel. How do you make it a talk group?
Now, these are the talk groups. It might be a channel, but all this is a talk group.
Okay.
Now you go to
channel.
Now you pick where you're going to use it. Okay, so.
And instead of a repeater, say you're going to use your hotspot, just copy a active setting.
I need to find my gizmo to scroll down. There we are. See, I've organized mine in a little bit differently. I've got my analog channels in one. I've got DMR plus. There's my TGIF. So I would add it in here. And this is my hotspot frequencies. You can see I have APRS programmed in there too. But anyhow, you would add, copy a line here, add it in, change the talk group.
Well, why don't you go ahead and show them? Instead of talking, show us.
I can try. TGDF. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm where I think I am. Because I've got two hotspots. There we are. So I'm going to copy this line. Copy. And paste it. And double click on it. And now comes the fun.
Your arrow is weird now. It's like a double arrow.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Put those in alphabetically with the newest ones.
Scrolling around here, I've got to move some stuff.
That's one thing I always have trouble finding where that talk group is.
I'm with you. Usually it's at the front because they're alphabetical. I think you called it TGIF.
Oh.
Yeah, I did call it TGIF. There it is.
So seeing this CPS, I now more understand why people are afraid of DMR, because this is just too much going on to add a channel.
They don't make it simple.
Well, I'm sorry. This is just too much compared to OpenGD 77 and all the others I've used.
Belgium? How are the conversations in QSOs with Belgium and Colombia?
There it is, bottom one on the right. There it is.
Ecuador? What's up with Ecuador these days?
There it is. And click OK.
So you got to change the channel name. I thought
I think I'm going to go with Tom's philosophy. I'm going to take and remove stuff on my CPS to make it really simple, to make it small.
Hold down the shift key and click on the bottom one, and then the second line, and then hit delete.
There you go.
one channel to copy. One channel to copy.
Yeah, well, it's a little different, guys, but this is not bad. Once you get used to it.
You didn't make that. Rick didn't make that, did he? Is that the breakdown thing?
Can you go back there real quick where you just were? I think you made a mistake.
Where'd I make a mistake?
Open up your thing again. The bottom one that you just had, 31266. Yep. Contact 50312266. You have it as a TGIF contact if you're trying to make that a BrandMeister 31266.
I do have a lot.
That's over in my channel. That's over in my channel. It carries over from there.
Okay.
Well, there's actually two Michigan Nets channel brands. One's on TGIF.
This is the name. Okay. I put 31266 in there. So I may have been in error in that. Then I go up to my
I was
zone.
confused about the mission. Forgot there was another one on DMR or TGIF. That's my fault.
And this is the one where you got to add it to a zone.
I got a
Otherwise
hotspot
you won't get it.
too. So I come down here and find it, which is probably near the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and move it over. And we're ready to go.
Yep. But now I got to write to the radio.
Yeah, it has to write to the radio.
And then also back it up when you're done.
Yeah, back it up after you find out it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing I found always extremely helpful before you make any changes to your CPS, to always read the current code plug from the radio into your CPS and edit off of that one.
Oh, yes.
Because that one does work, and you're editing a working CPS.
Right.
Also save it. Well, I save it after I make changes and make sure they work. And then I will save that particular code plug. I still load from the radio and
Join the meeting.
Modify from there. But if I have to revert, that old one's there. And I date stamp the files and stuff like that.
Yes, which is why mine is missing so many, because I got in the habit of that and forgot to save times.
We're all guilty of it.
Well, I know but back when I first got into DMR and I was wrestling with all this stuff, I had an 878 and one of the first ones and a DV Mega hotspot, and I just could not make things work. And so anyways, when Bridgecom came up with that plug and play package, I got it, and it's like, oh Lord, this is great. All I gotta do is turn it on and click on a talk group, and away I go. But then after you start learning about it and you start understanding it, so oh Lord, why do we got all this crap in here? The first thing to do is to take and create your own with just the ones that you really use all the time. I agree. I think that it's scary that alter code plug, man. It's a beast.
That I first wanted because I wanted everything, but you know what?
Well, I know, me too, but
don't use it. And Tom says it best. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Now, can you open up two instances and be able to copy rows from one instance to the other in Windows, or do you have to? Is that possible? Do you know?
Why do you want two instances of the CPS going?
Because I want to take just and copy just the rows that I want, and instead of typing everything in by hand, that's already set up and working. I'll go and I'll copy just the rows I want for the the talk groups and the.
So if you're doing that to switch to a new CPS, that won't work.
But if you're using the same CPS, can you open two instances of it, or you can't?
I do not know. I haven't tried that.
I don't think you can.
Okay. I'm not sure.
I don't think you can on that one.
So you basically,
Alan, what I'd do there is I'd make a copy of the big one,
and then just delete all the stuff.
And just go delete them. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have Excel on your computer, or?
Yeah. Yeah. I got Excel.
So open up Excel and paste that table into an Excel file.
Yeah.
And then you can copy and paste from there.
If you do a full export, it will export everything into a folder. You want to name it as a folder, and it will export like you'll have a talk group one, a channel one,
right?
And it'll have a whole bunch of CSV files you can open up with. I would use LibreOffice and not the Microsoft one, because Ralph DL3 from Germany, he was having problems opening it up, but I think it was because of how he has Excel opening up the files, because it would start changing some of the numbers, and it was trying to format them, and it would be removing some prefixes and stuff. or not making the
Oh,
numbers.
okay.
Instead, the frequencies are all wrong on his, so we're all messed up.
I see.
But if you use
Gotcha.
LibreOffice, it works fine.
LibreOffice? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if
Okay.
you actually change the format in Excel, it'll work fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
you
what
can change it
format
after
is.
you load it.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can change it after you load it. The Microsoft stuff is not bad. You just have to know how to work it.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think he had it, so when he clicked it, it automatically opened up a certain way.
Yeah.
But on LibreOffice, when I open it, I can tell
Yeah.
the fields what formats they are, or
Right.
just
Right.
leave it generic.
But you
But
can
not
go
mess
back.
up.
I'm guessing he had an older version of
Right.
Excel because the newer versions ask you if you want to change that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I'm
go back
using
into Excel and change
the
it.
newer version. Yeah. So okay. Because Microsoft, yeah, they don't. It's not what you think you want. It's what they think you want.
Yeah.
You should have, I guess.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
we're dealing with that issue at work with an
Yeah.
update that's causing Windows to
Yeah.
decide how
Was
much
Microsoft
battery
having
life
some
you need.
issues today? Because I was having trouble getting onto
Uh-huh.
certain things on Microsoft.
I don't know.
I gotta
We
go
didn't
back.
have
It's
any
9 o'clock.
Microsoft related outages today at work. And please don't jinx us with them tomorrow by talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, the big issue we have is it's BrandMeister with their master servers. So
Well, yeah, but Microsoft can have trouble with their master servers too.
yeah. Hey, Brad, thank you. I got that email. I forwarded that over to Bob. So Bob, if you want to see the videos, you're more than welcome to. If you have questions on it, Brad, Stan, Tom, be more than happy to help you if you want to.
I like how Dana's volunteering everyone else but himself for help.
I do.
Yeah.
I do what I can. But I haven't seen Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, I fired up the Traeger this afternoon. I did make bacon on it and hot dogs.
Where's my bacon?
What?
Sorry,
kind of bacon? What kind of
You didn't
bacon do
bring
you make,
enough for
Dana?
everybody?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah,
Rick?
you have to make it up for everyone.
What kind of bacon do you use?
I like Oscar Mayer, and I got the maple.
Oh, I like the sweet one, huh? The stuff that's got stuff on it.
It has a nice little flavor. And Stan and I, we were chatting earlier. We like that smoke flavor on them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was kidding, Bob. Feel free to reach out to me for any assistance you need.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well.
Cool. Kurt, you have any more words of wisdom? Because we're past our hour.
I'm getting ready to turn into a pumpkin and need to head up and talk to the wife.
You spent your hour, now go home.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ron, do you have any words of wisdom to add?
Not really. I find it interesting.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult.
I like the electric gold plug, but I've done what you've done. And just have about a half a dozen of them in there, and I just go to that all the time.
Yeah.
And Brad and I were chatting earlier, or no, Tom and I were chatting earlier. I've got, what was it, Tom? 8 channels. The 5 I use primarily. And one thing also, I have the BrandMeister 3126, 31266, 31268 are static. And then I got the 2 TGIF channels. And that's the ones I use along with the disconnect channel, parrot channel, and turn the hotspot off. Thanks to Steve who helped get me set up with that. So I could turn the hotspot in my car off before instead of killing power.
Yeah.
You mean you put it on null or what? Or you actually power it down?
These are remote options.
On
You
that's
send
on
it 9999996.
Is
Yes.
that WPSD only, or that's a Pi-Star command?
That's a Pi-Star thing.
Oh, I haven't never done that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, WPSD
And it's also
has
on
it too.
WPSD. Yeah.
But I do
They're
that
pretty
set up.
nice.
I have my green button set so it will do that, and then it'll shut off. And if I hit the PTT, it'll send it, and then it'll shut down. I notice WPSD it takes a while, but my Pi-Star, little Pi Zero, it shuts down like in 2 seconds.
Steve, I noticed that yesterday. I hit the button Nothing. I have to sit and hold the button down a second time, release it, then I
Oh,
finally
okay.
see it, the 99996. So, but
Well, I
that way
just
you
had-
don't corrupt your card.
Well,
I
guys,
just
guys
had-
with the Anytones, if you're not using those zones to organize channels, you're not effectively using that radio because I've got a
Oh.
zone that has the satellite downlink channels.
Cool.
And I've got a zone that has local repeaters
Sure.
and zone for when I travel back to Pennsylvania, the local repeaters back there. So that
Yeah.
that can be keep it simple, yes, but honest to Pete, there's a lot of stuff you can put in there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have an up zone and a up north zone and a down south zone of Michigan.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have one for Traverse City, analog and digital stuff, and then I think I have. I don't know. Let me check. I got one for all state zone. I have one zone with the NOAA radio weather channels.
Yep.
I have one just
too.
for analog repeaters. Yeah, Traverse City, and then it goes back to the Michigan one.
And
When you're mobile, you use your phone as your hotspot, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. And now, does that stop you from using the phone for anything else? I haven't.
I don't believe
Oh.
so.
Yeah, if I get, it won't be able to do the radio very good with the phone working, doing stuff.
Okay.
It's a matter of throughput. I
Feel
think.
like you're listening to music on Sirius XM,
Yeah.
and
It-
you can't do that and do the.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
See, that's why I have two phones.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well,
So-
actually, I have two too, and I guess one is Apple, and one is or iPhone, and one is is an Android phone. I guess I'll use the Android for the hotspot.
Oh, there you go.
It's wherever you have the most data width available.
Yeah,
if
well,
you're
they're both
driving
the same.
around, it
Yeah.
shouldn't matter which phone you use because you shouldn't be on either one of your phones.
That's right. We got that new law in Michigan.
But if you're listening,
Well, yeah, but
through
yeah,
the-
yeah,
If
right.
Yeah, if you're
listening
listening
through
to
the phone,
Spotify
there it
or
is.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Ham radio operators.
Well, I just
apply to that.
yeah. Some of the channels on
Nice,
that.
Tom.
No,
Some
it's
of them
true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can be on your ham radio and you tell the cop that, and if he still writes you a ticket, take it in there. The law is written that ham radio operators can use
Oh,
their
yeah.
radio.
Yep.
And Tom, you know what else? The other exception they have for that?
What?
Insulin pumps.
Yeah, there you go.
So see,
I'm gonna
I
tell
qualify
I'm gonna tell
under
him no.
both.
I was on my insulin pump. Sorry, I know. I was talking on my insulin pump.
I can't
What
I
was
can't
that,
get away with that one because I'm not diabetic and don't have an insulin pump.
I'm
Thank
talking
God
about
you're
my
not
pacemaker.
When was it?
I was talking to Dana's insulin pump.
At the CMART Club, they were saying that take your a copy of your license with you and a copy of the law with you in your car. So if the cop pulls you over, I said, yeah, you're gonna hand him that stuff. I bet you end up with a ticket for sure. You know?
I mean, aren't you supposed to keep your license on you when you're
Oh,
transmitting anyway?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't.
but I mean a copy of the law. I don't think. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but yeah.
Put it this way:
I think most of us follow the law. We're not trying to break it. So
if you're fiddling with a phone and driving down the highway trying to turn on a hotspot or something,
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
kind of
yeah.
foolish, I think.
It's brutal. Yeah,
pull
that's
off,
very.
do it before you start moving.
That's
Yep.
right.
I don't
Yeah.
even talk on BrandMeister in the mobile because it's gonna mess up so much. I can't change servers or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even
See-
use BrandMeister in the car.
I've got the T-Mobile sync up drive that lets me track my car and also gives me Wi-Fi in my car. So I just plug my hotspot
that's
in
nice.
and turn my car on.
that's
and
nice.
I've
We
got
got that.
Wi-Fi in the car. I don't have to mess with anything.
So is this built into your car?
No, it's T-Mobile sync up drive. It's a device that plugs into your OEM2 port underneath your dash.
Okay.
Oh,
And it will actually, like, if there's something wrong with your car and your car is giving diagnostic codes, it'll actually tell you kind of what those are It keeps track of your maintenance for you. So when it's time for an oil change, you can mark you got an oil change in, and it keeps track of it. It's actually a really good app for your phone. And you can track where your car is. So if you have kids that you want to keep tabs on,
There you go.
you can tell them you're giving them Wi-Fi in their car for their friends, when really it's to track where they're located.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
My car does all that. I don't have to have an extra app.
Yeah, Rick, you don't have to share your screen now.
It shouldn't be shared.
Also,
you're still sharing, Rick.
I'm sorry.
I just remembered on the GD77, Open GD77 firmware, you don't ever have to update contacts anymore either, like everybody's call signs.
That's a good option.
Yeah, I turned on Talker Alias on my my handheld, and now someone who just got their amateur radio license last week, his call sign shows up in my radio. And I haven't updated my contact list in over 4 weeks.
I updated mine yesterday simply because somebody Sunday in the UP, they came on just their number without the name. So
yeah, I don't see that.
When that happens,
Alias comes through.
When that happens, just ask them what their call sign is, and then ask them what town they're in, and you're all set. You don't need to update your contact list.
I think I have Talker Alias turned on in mine, but also I just with the WPSD click on it, and boom, it pops up who they are.
Yep.
We got to get Lucille upgraded to WPSD. We got to get Bob updated with 31266 on BrandMeister.
Okay, what is that? TYT, what is that? The 890 or 980 or what is it?
380 or the 390?
390. Oh, it's way off.
390 is a very cool radio.
I would suggest a 390 over they're the same radio. I would suggest the 390 over the 380 after using both of them.
MD-UV 390.
Yep.
And Bob, you've got the 380. Is that the one you have?
Yep.
Also,
you hear me yet or not?
The 390 has a very acceptable FM analog receiver in it, unlike most radios, Chinese radios. Analog FM is horrible, or the firmware is. But the 390 with Open GD77 is excellent. I do comparison tests all the time. I can hear a repeater. I can barely hear a repeater. So that is another good reason to get the 390. It's definitely a good radio, which is
10 watts. It outputs 10 watts.
Mine doesn't, I don't think.
Mine's one of the older ones that only does 5 watts.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, you've not been doing signal reports or quality reports when I heard you on the radio.
Well, because BrandMeister
all the time.
I thought it was blocked from BrandMeister, but it just was their poor server administration. Oh, did we turn off the recording? Did we turn off the recording? Did we turn off the recording yet?
No.
Not yet. We're still recording.
Oh, sorry.
Here, hold on. All right, so that's it for this month's episode of DMR Tech Net TV. Thanks for watching. Let me